Hey guys, it's Goosebumps Completionist, and today I'm bringing you a book review from Classic 62, and it's book number 24, Phantom of the Auditorium. I think this book is a nostalgic read for me. I really enjoyed this book when I was a kid. It's not my normal wheelhouse of Goosebumps, but I do find it very enjoyable. A lot of the common criticisms behind this book is that it's a ripoff of Phantom of the Auditorium. It's anticlimactic in the ending. It's kind of meandering in the middle of the book. It's, unoriginal. Those are the common things I hear. Or it's forgettable. I tend to disagree with that. I think this is a great homage to Phantom of the Opera. I do agree it's kind of anticlimactic. I do think that the pace wasn't the best, but it did work. The characterization was good. The villains were kind of weak, but it kind of grounds it in realism for the story, so I don't think that's a complete negative. I think that this is one of those stories that are rooted in majority of reality, and I think this story could happen in real life, minus the very ending. But I think this book is a solid read for people who don't like, extreme visualization, if you don't like body horror, gross out, if you don't like the ghost or monster type of stuff. This is a great read, especially if you like mystery thriller type of books. I think you would like this. It kind of plays on all those elements. So anywho, let's get into the basic plot. This girl named Brooke and her best friend Zeke are big horror fans. They've grown up horror fans. They love scary things. They're not easily scared, but they jump at any opportunity to be scary. They like pranks and all of that. And they learn from their teacher, Miss Walker, that they're putting on a production of a play called The Phantom. Now, The Phantom is a play that was cherry-picked at the very beginning of the school's life. In the very first year the school was built, the group of students putting on the play, one of the students picked this play script, and it got approved and all of that, and they were really excited to put on this scary production for the first play ever at the school. And then something happened to one of the actors. They either disappeared or died, nobody really knows, but they never really put the play on, and they abandoned ship, and they claimed the play was cursed. Fast forward 70 plus years, Miss Walker finds the only existing manuscript of the play left, and she decides she's going to put on the play. And Brooke and Zeke, that's why they tried out for it, and then they end up winning the star roles. Brooke wins the role of Esmeralda, and Zeke wins the role of the Phantom. Now, it's a really cool dichotomy between these two. They both like pranks. Brooke's more the serious one. Zeke's more of the playful one, as you'll come to read. Brooke has this catty relationship with this girl named Tina, who's on the production team of the play. And Tina wanted the role of Esmeralda really bad. They're kind of like pseudo rivals. Normally, Tina ends up winning in situations. She always gets what she wants, but in this situation, Brooke finally wins, and there's, typical catty stuff going on there. But it's really fun to read. And as Miss Walker explains this, she explains about this trapdoor in the play, the drop-down platform that goes down below the auditorium stage. And since the play is cursed, there's this idea of a real-life phantom haunting the play. And now this idea of a phantom starts to become real one day when Brooke's at rehearsal. She is scared by a person dressed in a phantom costume. And she is pretty much convinced it's Zeke playing a prank on her. Miss Walker ends up hearing what happens, but Zeke wasn't there. So it could have made sense that Zeke was the Phantom, but Zeke tells Brooke after the fact that it wasn't him. So they're starting to piece together, well, if it wasn't you, then who was it? So both of them decide to, stay after school one day and kind of investigate this trapdoor. They have this idea that this drop-down platform trapdoor contraption in the stage could lead them to the Phantom. And the first time they try to get into it, their plans are thwarted by this night janitor. And this night janitor says, you need to leave. You're not supposed to be here. They get frightened from this person and they leave. They go home and they try to regroup some other time to get down there. Now the second what happens is, to kind of make this short, all of these sabotaging things start happening to the play. vandalism involving signs that say "Stay away from my home, sweet home." Things magically disappearing or breaking, etc. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. And people are starting to question, well, what's going on here? Then comes in a new character called Brian. Now, Brian is from out of town. He's not from the area. He's brand new. And he wants to be part of the play, but all the roles have been taken up. And Miss Walker offers Brian a position on the stage production team with Tina. Now, Brian starts to put in the hard work. He's just happy he's there. Builds this really cool backdrop and whatnot. He starts developing a friendship with Brooke and Zeke, and they talk about this phantom. Then they learn this information about this night janitor, and after learning this, now they really want to go inspect this auditorium a little bit more. So they go inspect the auditorium. They convince Brian to go, even though he doesn't want to go. He's kind of like against his will. They meet Brian at the school. They sneak in. They go to the auditorium, and they discover the backdrop has been vandalized with the same sign, "Stay away from my home, sweet home." And in comes walking Miss Walker, and she's upset. She's like, "How did this happen? You know, you guys must be the saboteurs. You know, I'm going to get you guys in trouble." They convince her that it's not any of them, but then one of them ended up getting framed by the real saboteur, whoever may have been, and one of them gets kicked off the play. Then fast forwards to two of them decide to team up with the person that got kicked out of the play to once and for all prove there's a phantom. They decided to stay after school or sneak in. I forget which one of the two, but you get the idea. They end up to the auditorium, and they go down the trapdoor / elevator contraption in the middle of the auditorium, and they go down to this creepy tunnel system. And they bring flashlights, of course, and as they're wandering through this tunnel system, they discover at the very end of it, there's a room, and there's stuff there like an old couch, an old record player, and somebody's living there. Now, this is very scary. This is probably the scariest part of the book. It is indeed someone living down there as it's revealed. And then, of course, we discover who the saboteur is through that. And they end up getting out. The authorities come. They couldn't find anybody. Not to mention, they didn't find any dead bodies down there or anything, mind you. So the whole place was just empty. They pretty much took all the stuff and left. And then it cuts to the night of the play, where Brooke is playing Esmeralda on stage, and then this big reveal happens. And then you learn after the big reveal about this idea that there is a real specter haunting the auditorium, and who the identity of the specter is gets revealed literally in the very last sentence of the book, and then it fades to black. Now, the strengths on this book, I do think the pace works really well. I think the characterization is played really well on the pace. I do like it's rooted in reality. I do like that this stuff can probably happen. And, well, at least most of it could probably happen. And for that, I really find this story identifiable. I like the fact that they have a horror passion. I like the fact that they like that kind of stuff between Brooke and Zeke. I like that they're pranksters. It's a really fun, atmospheric building book. Like I said, the villains are weak, but I don't think that takes away from the story. What I will say in the negatives now, it's very anticlimactic in like the last 6 or so chapters. I mean, it gets very predictable. Once you narrow down the suspects, it becomes very predictable. And it's not the best ending of a Goosebumps book. And that's what the main drawback with this story is that the majority of the book was so good, but that ending just dropped it on its head so bad. Both reveals, actually. Very predictable. And yeah, I can see why people say it's anticlimactic. I get that criticism behind this book. I don't think it's forgettable, but I do think it is a really good, well-written story. But it's not the best, but it's definitely above average. So let's get into the grade of Phantom of the Auditorium. I kind of struggled with this. I knew I wasn't going to give it a 4.5 or higher, but I knew I was going to give it between a 4 and a 4.4. And I ultimately settled on this grade because I felt this is a fair grade for this book. I deducted 0.4 off for the anticlimactic true end to the story with the reveal about the specter phantom. And given that, even though the reveal of who was living below the stage was kind of predictable, I did find it scary, so I didn't deduct that much points off for this. For the other one, I deducted 0.3. But both of them collectively, like the person living under the auditorium and who the specter was, both were very anticlimactic, and they both took away from the ending for me. So I deducted 0.7 off, and I gave it a 4.3 out of 5. Still a solid book. I recommend this for anybody 6 or older. I think the younger readers would really enjoy this one. I think if your parents are watching, I think your kids would really enjoy this. It's not graphic by any means. It's not extreme visualization. It's none of that. It's just a good old mystery story. And yeah, I think it captures the essence of Classic 62 very well and very nostalgic. So I think a lot of people would really enjoy this story. So yeah, that was my review of Phantom of the Auditorium. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Did you love it or did you hate it? I'm dying to know. And I'll see you next time.